Reactions trail as Nigerian police burst firearms factory in Lagos. Senator Apo apologizes to Akpabio. And on the foreign scene, Putin filmed in China accompanied by officers with a nuclear briefcase.
Alive TV.
Thanks for joining us on Alive News at this hour. The Lagos State Police Command has uncovered an arms manufacturing factory in the Idata community, Ibeju, Lekki area of the state. It was gathered that two blacksmiths, Musiliu Benga, 21, and Owolabi Aziz, 22, were arrested from the arms fabrication factory. Two of them, alongside 30 other suspects arrested for various crimes ranging from cultism, stealing, and illegal possession of firearms, were paraded at the conference hall of the Lagos State Police Command, Ikeja, Lagos. Lagos State citizens, while speaking with Alive News, have commended the Lagos State Police Command for a job well done for uncovering the arms manufacturing company, and this will lead to less crimes and involvement of illegal activities in the country. They added that those caught in the act should be punished according to the law, as that will serve as a lesson to others.
What is supposed to happen is that they are supposed to punish them, but they should also look at it from the other way around. If they can, because what they are doing is a kind of productivity, but they are doing it in an illegal way. If they can look into the opportunities into it and try to encourage our youth so that people won't just be going outside of the country there won't be more of brain drain in our country. So they should try and encourage people legally. And those that did that, if there is a way they can punish them and with time they release them, I don't think it should be a very severe punishment.
It's not the situation of the country. You understand? Because, for example, look at you now. You are here under sun because I know you are doing, because they are paying you for this, what you are doing. And you understand? Why then they are not, why they can't go outside or also like others? Look at some people are selling pure water. I don't know the human being like them. So it's not it's laziness. Yes. So like, look at me now, look at what I'm wearing. I'm an engineer and I'm working in hospital.
I can delve into that view that okay, they are talented, but they use it in a wrong way. But now you need to look at it. All the things they've produced, people have used it wrongly to kill innocent people, right? So it is absolutely wrong. I don't see. So if you leave them now and you employ them to start producing for Nigeria, you have used other innocent blood to start building other people's future. So it doesn't make sense to me. If you're good, just channel it to the good part. Then again, if the government now try as much as possible to like take them that okay, let's employ them and start using them. Now everybody that has that kind of good talent and they don't have the opportunity will just say, let me use it for bad thing. As soon as I'm arrested, the government can forgive me. And that's why I don't like the idea of we capturing Boko Haram and now reintroducing them into the society.
The Senate on Wednesday appointed the All Progressives Congress Senator representing Kwara South, Oyelola Yisa Ashiru, as the new deputy leader of the Red Chamber. The upper legislature also appointed the senator representing Ebonyi North Senatorial District, Nwebonyi Peter Onyeka, as the new deputy chief whip of the Senate. Senate Onyeka is a member of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Senate President Godswill Akpabio announced the new appointment during Wednesday's plenary session on the floor of the Senate. Ashiru, who was the former deputy chief whip, was elevated to the position of deputy Senate leader, which became vacant following the appointment of Senator Dave Umahi as the Minister of Works by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Away from that, the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress have issued a 2-week deadline for governors to commence negotiations on the 35,000 naira wage award for workers in their states. The organized labor unions are making the demands in line with the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding signed by the federal government. Recall that the national leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress on October 1st reached an agreement with the federal government to pay 35,000 naira to all federal workers beginning from September, pending when the new national minimum wage is expected to have been signed into law. Speaking with Alive News in Lagos, citizens have advised the Nigerian Labour Congress to stand on their grounds and not change their minds. They added that the government should not deprive the Labour Congress of their rights.
I think the federal government and the NLC, they know themselves. And the NLC should understand that the federal government is always adamant in fulfilling their promises. And so they have to actually have a spine for the people. They must make sure they are courageous in their demand to see to the well-being of the people. Because this country, I think we're still lacking behind in leadership, because our people need to actually inculcate the right value system and be people-centric than self-centric in our leadership. So the NLC, if they can actually put selfishness aside and think about the people first, I believe the country will move forward.
If government has given them the promise, I think the government should keep to their promise, because the NLC too has been tolerating the inability of the government to, as in meeting up with their demands or their promises. I think we all witnessed what happened last time. So they met again and they were able to be lenient with them again. So the next thing to do is for government to keep to their promises, because these are Nigerians. They are also asking for something that will benefit fellow Nigerians and even they themselves. Government is living fine, they enjoy the country. So they should allow fellow Nigerians to enjoy the country too.
Now, concerning the issue of the Labour being given the ultimatum to government, it sounds okay.
Of course, they should, because, I mean, it's going to help people's life. Yes, I think they should stand on their ground. That's just it, yeah.
In other stories, the embattled senator representing Adamawa North Senatorial District, Elisha Abu, has apologized over his allegation that Senate President Godswill Akpabio plotted his removal by the Court of Appeal. Abu tendered his apology while speaking in an interview on Wednesday. He says with all sense of humility and responsibility that the press release issued yesterday was premature and based on the available information at their disposal. Abu further stated that they have discovered a lot of things, and after the discussion with the Senate President, he is convinced that he is not involved. Hello and welcome to Live News. The immediate past Minister of Youth and Sports Development Chief Sondidari, the federal government of Nigeria has taken punitive action against the sectarian. Nigerians have expressed fear over the possible shutdown of businesses and job losses.
See, things are just going higher every day.
For the fact that going from here to Ombalin day before was at 300, but now is at the high side of 700, 800.
The subsidy costs us trillions of naira yearly. Such as a vast sum of money will have been better spent on public transportation, health care, school, housing, and even national security.
Welcome back. And now on the foreign scene, a rare footage was shown on Wednesday of Russian President Vladimir Putin in Beijing, accompanied by officers carrying the so-called nuclear briefcase, which can be used to order a nuclear strike. Putin, after a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, was filmed walking to another meeting surrounded by security and followed by two Russian naval officers in uniform, each carrying a briefcase. Russia's nuclear briefcase is traditionally carried by a naval officer known as a cheket. The briefcase is with the president at all times, but is rarely filmed. And lastly in sport, the highly anticipated fight between Nigerian-born British boxer Anthony Joshua and American heavyweight boxer Deontay Wilder has been moved to March or April 2024. Initially, Anthony Joshua and Wilder's bout was anticipated to take place in December or January 2024 in the Middle East after it was confirmed that the two sides were ready to fight. As a result of the delay, Joshua will now take part in the stopgap fight before possibly facing the American boxer in the spring. Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn says the fight will certainly happen, but can't take place earlier than March 2024. And this is all we have for you at this hour. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms at Alive TV. I am Tanti Azar. Have a great evening.